Good morning, everyone. Wasim Parkar over here. It's the last day of the Labor Day long weekend, day 8 at the US Open, and we've got the conclusion to the round of 16 in store for us. So, before I touch on that, a quick note on day 7. I have to say, the majority of the matches were sort of anticlimactic, a lot of straight sets wins. We didn't see that many cliffhangers, but the one match that was a cliffhanger just made it totally worth it. Rafa Nadal and Luca Pui. Yeah, I've finally gotten the Frenchman's pronunciation correctly. Luca Pui played a classic 4 hours and 7 minutes. It was some sensational tennis from both players. You almost felt bad that someone had to lose that match, and on this occasion, it was Nadal. Now, Pui deserves a lot of credit. He played with gumption, he attacked a lot. One thing I will say though is even though it felt that Nadal was back to somewhere close to his best, the reality is that there were moments of nervousness and confusion that we haven't seen from Nadal in the past. And they say as you age in sports, it's really more of a mental challenge than the physical challenge. The physical challenge is, of course, real, but it's just as much as a problem in the head as well. That missed forehand at 6-all in the last tiebreak was quite shocking. I would never imagine Rafa Nadal in his prime missing such a shot. So a big upset over there. And Luca Pui, credit to him, he followed up his Wimbledon experience, where he reached the quarterfinals by making the quarterfinals at the US Open again. So it's looking like this youngster is not a flash in the pan, which is a good thing because tennis needs a new generation of stars now because the big four aren't always going to be there. All right, so let's take a look at what's on the docket today. Some great matches right off the bat on Arthur Ashe. I'm really excited to watch Dominic Thiem versus Juan Martin Del Potro. This has a potential to be an absolute firecracker. Thiem made the semifinals of the French Open. He's actually the player who's played the most single matches on tour this year, something like almost 70. It's a crazy amount of games. He's played a lot of 250 level tournaments as well, which is good, I guess, if you kind of want to get in that winning rhythm. But in some aspects of his gameplay, he's also looking a little tired. In his last round match against Pablo Carreno, he really struggled. He came through in 4 sets, but his serve got broken a lot of times. There were many times he wasn't even able to consolidate breaks himself. And it was just his greater quality both on his backhand and forehand that eventually let him prevail in that match. Now he's playing Juan Martin Del Potro, who hasn't lost a set yet at the US Open. So he's followed on from his excellent Olympics. And I'm really surprised because he played Steve Johnson in the second round and David Ferrer in the third. And he's beaten them both quite comprehensively. He's won a tiebreak in each match that he's played, but then he's won sets 6-3 and 6-2. And this is without Delpo even going strong on his backhand. He's playing his backhand very tentatively, but he's dictating play so well with his serve and forehand that he's able to negate that weakness on his backhand right now. If Delpo gets back his confidence as the months go on and doesn't get injured and he has a confidence to hit his backhand through again, he could seriously, easily be a top 4, top 5 player again. Now, against Thiem, I think Thiem's a bit tired. I would say Delpo's the favorite. The only thing is that if Thiem is smart enough, his topspin forehand bounces really high. And if he can use that as an advantage to make Delpo play on the backhand more, then Thiem has a chance of beating him. The problem is, I don't know if Thiem is mature enough right now to use strategic moves in a match of this magnitude. I'm going to give Delpo the edge over here just because the crowd's going to back him. He's playing really well, and Thiem is a little tired after that tough third round match day before yesterday. Next up, Carolina Pliskova versus Venus Williams. Folks, on paper, of course, this is an easy match for Venus, but Carolina Pliskova is a dark horse for this tournament. She won Cincinnati. She's had an excellent year, and she's a very dangerous opponent. I think this has the capability of going 3 sets, but I'm going to back Venus to win, even though Pliskova is, of course, the dark horse. I'm expecting some fireworks in this match. After Venus, it's her sister Serena. Serena's taking on Yaroslava Shvedova, who's always a dangerous opponent, but she's never beaten Serena. I remember, I can't pick the year exactly, but Serena and Shvedova played at Wimbledon, and Serena won a last set, some 8-6 or 9-7. It was very tight, but all the other games have been fairly routine for Serena. The way Serena's played so far, I just can't see her losing this one. And with the Labor Day holiday crowd backing her, I just can't see her losing this one. So I'd be very surprised if this even went to 3 sets. After that, we've got Aggie Radwanska against Anna Konia. This is actually the last match of the night session on Arthur Ashe today, and it's got the potential to be a real classic. Not many might have heard of Anna Konia, the young Croatian, but she won both the Australian Open and the US Open as a junior. And she's got some firepower on her forehand for sure. She hits it really well cross court and down the line. Aggie Radwanska, everyone's familiar with her style of play. She's probably one of the most tactically astute players on tour. Very rarely relies on power, doesn't out-hit her opponents. But she is vulnerable to a opponent like Kanya. In fact, at Wimbledon this year, in the second round, they had a barn burner of a match, 9-7 in the third set. Radwanska just came through. I'm expecting another close one under the lights at Arthur Ashe. And to be quite honest, I'm scared to pick a winner on this one. It looks very close and very tight to me. The last round of 16 women's match that takes place today, not chronologically, of course, the one that I'm going to talk about is Carla Suarez Navarro versus Simona Halep. Folks, they've played each other 10 times, and the head-to-head stands at 5-5. This is a very close match, and Halep actually hasn't been playing that well. I think in a third-round match against Timea Babos, she relied a lot on sheer willpower and guts to dig through that match. I thought Babos was a better player. Halep was quite lucky to come through. Her game, you'd give the edge on the baseline definitely to Halep, but where I think Carlos Suarez Navarro is a little bit more dangerous is she can dictate points with her slices and single-handed backhand, and she could ruffle up Halep big time. So this is another close match that I refuse to call a winner on. I think this one's going 3 sets as well. I really hope so. Now, let's shift gears, talk about some of the other men's matches. Ilya Marchenko versus Stan Wawrinka. In normal situations, you'd say Wawrinka is the clear favorite. But Wawrinka, day before yesterday, had an exhaustive match, a really exhaustive match against Dan Evans. He had to come through. He saved a match point, so he came through in 5 tough sets. Meanwhile, Marchenko played only 3 sets against Nick Kyrgios because Nick Kyrgios retired. That might play a small factor. I think Marchenko will at least start the stronger, but I think eventually Wawrinka's quality has to prevail in this match. I'd pick Wawrinka in 4 sets in this one. Next up, Kei Nishikori versus Ivo Karlovic. This is really quite an interesting match. I have to say, I am pleasantly surprised by how well Ivo Karlovic is playing. Not just serve, but the serve and volley, and also from the baseline, he's picking his moments to go big. He's unsettling his opponents with some slow shots, taking the pace off, and then when the opportunity rises, he's going for the big winners. He's a tough player to break. That being said, Nishikori, you'd have to back him considering his pedigree on US hard courts. And, maybe Karlovic will take a set in a tie-break. There'll be some very close sets. But I think once Nishikori gets a read on Karlovic's serve, and he is an intelligent enough player to eventually get there, his all-round game will come to the fore, and it should result in, I would say, a 4-set win for Nishikori over Karlovic. And then, finally, the best match of the day that I'm really looking forward to. It opens up the evening session on Arthur Ashe. Grigor Dimitrov versus Andy Murray. Now, everyone remembers Dimitrov beat Andy Murray at Wimbledon in 2014, I believe. Yeah, the year that Murray was defending his first title. Head-to-head, Murray leads 6-3. But their last 2 matches have been split 1-1 on the US hard courts. I would be very surprised if this was a straight sets win. Even though I think Murray is the favorite, Murray is in such control of his game. But when you think about it, even someone like Paolo Lorenzi, a wild card, took Murray to 4 sets. I would think Dimitrov, in the zone that he is right now, should be able to at least take a set against Murray, if not 2. So I'm expecting Murray to come through because he's just in sensational form. But what is quite evident is that both these players can sometimes go on streaks where the game completely melts down. So expect a fair amount of breaks of serves in this match because both are also very good returners. But expect a lot of great rallies, sensational winners, and overall some good tennis. So I can't wait for the round of 16 to conclude today, watch some exciting tennis, and I'll be back with analysis of the quarterfinals. See you guys later.